Good morning, all you beautiful people. This is Goose with On With The Show, doing the show today, going live, and just going in a different direction with this, trying to see if I can get I'd rather do it like live now because it's more fun. I'm able to engage you all a little better, and I'm able to do this more often than having to try to put out 3 or 4 videos a week, which is very time consuming. But I'm enjoying this, coming to you live with On With The Show. I wanted to show you today's coffee mug. It's from the Jelly Belly Factory. You ever been there at Fairfield, California? They do great tours. And the coffee today is extra special. So today we're going to talk about a couple of items. There was one I really wanted to talk about. I wanted to video on, but I wasn't sure because I wasn't sure how long the video was going to be. So, but I wanted to get into the death of Michelle Trachtenberg, the surprising death of Michelle Trachtenberg at the age of 39 years old. She'd done Harriet the Spy, The Ice Princess, Gossip Girl. She did Gossip Girl for years. Was just 39 years old, and she was found unresponsive in her New York apartment. And they were finally able to become a cause of death. As I'm reading this from the LA Times, Michelle Trachtenberg's cause of death revealed after family objected to coroner autopsy. They're saying that more than a month after she died in her New York apartment, the New York City chief of medical examiner said that determined Trachtenberg died of complications of diabetes. Diabetes mellitus. It was confirmed. It is according to the Mayo Clinic. It refers to the group of diseases that impact the body, how it uses blood sugar. The office did not disclose details of specific complications that led to Trachtenberg's death, and they deemed that her manner of death was natural. As we go down a little further, days after Trachtenberg's sudden death, the New York City Office of Chief and Medical Examiner said the actor's official cause and manner of death would remain undetermined, citing her family's request at the time for religious reasons. As I have helicopters flying over me, Trachtenberg's loved ones objected to having an autopsy performed. She was a child of immigrants who grew up in Brooklyn speaking English and Russian. Is said to have been Jewish, and in that faith, autopsies are generally not performed because bodies are believed to be sacred and should not be tampered with after death. The office confirmed that it honored the family's objections. It said laboratory testing can be done without an autopsy to determine the cause and manner of death. So that's basically how they were able to figure out how she died. They couldn't cut her open because the family objected to a full autopsy due to religious reasons. And that's a good reason to not have an autopsy. But they were able to do some toxicology and were able to determine that she died most likely of complications of diabetes, which is kind of crazy. Because and I'm going to be honest, and I know some of you thought the same thing too, that when she was found dead at 39 in her New York City apartment, the first thing we thought was, oh, it must have been drugs. It must have been drugs. Because that is the normal thing that we leap to. I mean, nobody had thought that, when Heath Ledger was found dead in his apartment, nobody had thought that, he was it would have been drugs. At least I didn't. And then until they found out that he had taken one too many prescription medication, and then all of a sudden, oh my gosh. So that's kind of the thing we all leap to. Now we find that Michelle Trachtenberg's death was of natural causes because of complications of diabetes. And if you look at her, you would not have known that she was a diabetic. I think that kind of gets how do I say this? Because we all have these ideas of what diabetics are. Normally, we think of type 2 diabetics, the very, the obese people who can't handle their sugar. They drink, a 6-pack of Mountain Dew a day, and and that's kind of what I'm dealing with right now. I do have diabetes in my family, And so, I love to eat ice cream. I love to, have my sugar. Um, but when your numbers when your A1C kind of gets to the point where it's like, hey, if you keep doing this, you're going to end up being a diabetic and you'll have to take insulin. That's when I'm kind of like, okay, it's kind of hard though, because sugar is in everything we eat. I mean, even some of the most healthiest foods, they have a little bit of sugar. I mean, if you go back to the 80s when they did this non-fat, remove the fat, low fat, what do they put in when they did that in the beginning? The stuff tasted horrible. Now they pack all that non-fat stuff with sugar so that you'll eat it because it tastes so good. But I would never have thought, again, that Michelle Trachtenberg died of diabetic complications, especially since we didn't even know that she even suffered from the disease. And it was probably something that was very, very private for her. And again, we have a very young, very talented actress who dies way too young, who could have gone on to a very stellar career. She continued to do television well after her childhood movie phases, and it's just a shame to know that she's gone. But I'm happy to know that it wasn't anything drug related. It was natural causes. I mean, I know that sounds bad to say that. I know it's like, oh, why would you immediately rush to judgment that it was drugs? Well, we all do that. When someone that young and that talented suddenly dies, that's what we all think of. I hate to say it, but that is what we all think of. And I think it also gives us a wake-up call to try to, even someone who looked that healthy, it gives us a wake-up call to kind of monitor our own health so that we don't pass away too soon from natural causes. And I'm glad that they were able to honor the family's wishes and not doing an autopsy, but was able to find cause of death. Because again, we would, if they hadn't done some type of autopsy, we would have been wondering what had happened to her for years to come. And it would have spread vicious rumors, and her family would have had to have dealt with the vicious rumors. Yeah. It's kind of, again, it's kind of hard to swallow. It's kind of hard to take in, but that's the way it is right now that we're dealing with this death, even 2 months out. So, God bless you, Michelle Trachtenberg. Rest in peace. As I drink more coffee. But today's episode, as I get that out of the way, today's episode is going to be about Jeremy Renner and the amazing lowball offer he got from Disney and Marvel. I was looking at through Fox News Entertainment, and I came across this headline: Jeremy Renner slams Disney penny pinchers for making him insult offers to reprise Marvel role. Renner played Hawkeye in the Avengers movies as well as in a Disney Plus series. This was on May 2nd. So this was up back on last Friday. So Renner is defending himself against an insult offer he claims to have received from Disney. The actor who played superhero Hawkeye in several Marvel projects was in a new interview on High Performance Podcast that the company approached him to do a second season of Disney Plus series Hawkeye. But they offered him half the amount he made during the first season. They asked me to do a season 2, and they offered me half the money. And I'm like, wow, it's going to take me twice the amount of work for half the amount of money. So 8 months of my time, essentially, I have to do it for half the amount. Now, and he continued, I'm like, why? Cause you to think I'm only half the Jeremy Renner because I got ran over. He's talking about his January 1st, 2023 accident with a snowplow that nearly killed him. And this is not Marvel, mind you. This is just Disney. Not even really Disney. It's just the penny pinchers, the accountants. I told them to go fly a kite. I mean, just at the insult offer. So we didn't see eye to eye on that. Yeah, this was kind of crazy. It's like I read that and I'm like, first of all, I didn't even know they were even going to do a second season because the first season of Hawkeye was back in 2021. So now we've got 4 years later, 3 years later, 4 years later, and now they're going to do a second season of Hawkeye. Even if you watched that season of Hawkeye, it looked like it was a great handoff because let's face it, Clint Barton, his character was pretty much the only family man in the whole Avengers series. He came in with a family, he walked out with a family. It wasn't like, and I mean, some people will say, well, Tony Stark, he had a family at the end of Avengers. Yeah, but he didn't come into the Avengers series with a family, where Clint Barton did. He was a family man from the very beginning, and he had talked about, in the show that this was it. I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be with my family, especially after he lost his family to the blip. And spent like all those years, 5 years without them, and became Ronin and all that other stuff. But I didn't even know that. Disney hadn't even announced a season 2 for Hawkeye, and unless there was like, I don't know, maybe it was in a contract that they were going to do 2 seasons. Maybe I just felt it was a perfect handoff from Clint Barton to Kate Bishop, and that she's going to be the new Hawkeye, which was, I think, was something that they had done in the comics to begin with. And it would have given Haley Steinfeld, who plays Kate Bishop, a great reason to continue the series in a female-led role. But yeah, there were no signs anywhere that they were doing a Hawkeye 2. Normally, when they do a second season of something, it's like they at least make some type of announcement. I know Andor, which I'm currently watching, I know it's been a couple of years from season 1 to season 2, but they don't wait 4 years to do one to the other. They usually try to keep them as close together as possible. And so I was even surprised that they were even doing Hawkeye 2, a Hawkeye season 2. And then for him to basically be given an offer that's like super low, that's lowball, is half what he was. And, and Jeremy Renner really doesn't need to go back to doing Hawkeye. I mean, he's been doing this other show, as I click on it, Mayor of Kingstown, from 2021 to 2024. I don't know if they're doing another season of it, but it's not like he's opposed to doing television. He's been doing television. Doing television makes lucrative money. If you can find Mayor Kingstown, I think on Paramount Plus. I don't have Paramount Plus because I try to keep my streaming services to a minimum. I think I've got like 5, and that's about all I want to do. I don't want to do any more streaming services because I have a hard enough time just trying to keep up with the ones I have, and I can usually find the same stuff on one of them that I can find in another one. It's like they all mix and match and interchange and do all sorts of stuff. It's funny because I'll go to Discovery Plus and I'll say, oh, there's a show I really want to watch, and then I'll go to Max and I'm like, there's the same show I really want to watch. So I try to keep my streaming services at a minimum, but I don't I don't understand. First of all, I didn't understand it until I popped open my phone this morning, and there was several places where they're saying that this was their plan all along, that this was Marvel's plan all along to basically offer Jeremy Renner half the money and him to turn it down so that they don't have to do it, which I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Why? I mean, which goes back to, what was the contract? Was the contract for 2 seasons or 3 seasons or whatever? And they're like, nah, let's lowball him so that he'll turn it down. And maybe this is, if they do Hawkeye 2, maybe it's just going to be about Kate Bishop, which is what it should be in the first place. Again, the end of season 1 was a perfect handoff from Clint Barton to Kate Bishop. And they even bring Kate Bishop in for What If, in a storyline for What If, which I thought was really good. And I just, it's one of those things that make you scratch your head because, again, we haven't had a Hawkeye series since 2021. And so it's kind of like, okay, so what was the point of doing season two? What was the point of even bringing up season two? You didn't even announce it in D23. What's the point? What are you doing? What are you guys doing? Um, which again, I think kind of like makes you wonder what's really going on over there. I know that as I looked at the box office this past weekend, Thunderbolts was number one, but it was they did $76 million, which I'm like, that's actually pretty good. And they're like, well, it underperformed. It underperformed according to who? To your numbers? Because I don't think you were going to get $100 million, box office out of Thunderbolts. No offense. I'm actually looking forward to seeing Thunderbolts. I've seen the reviews on it. I've seen the high ratings on it. I'm like, I think I'm going to go see this. I'm going to check it out. And this might even lead to another Thunderbolts movie, which would actually be pretty good. But people are saying that this movie is so good that even the word of mouth is starting to drive this. I think Thunderbolts is going to be a movie that goes and stays somewhere in the top 5 for at least 2 or 3 months, because if the word of mouth is that good, people are going to continue to go see it. In fact, if they'll go to the movies, they're like, oh, there's nothing wrong. Oh, Thunderbolts, let's go see that again. That's usually how it happens. I remember when the Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one, came out several years ago. Everybody thought it's not going to do very well. It's a pirate movie, and yet it stayed in the top 5 almost all summer because of how good it was and how the word of mouth driven it. And I think the same thing's going to happen with Thunderbolts. I think that my feeling is that I think that Marvel has a big hit on their hands. It's going to be one of those things where it's going to be one of those things where it just goes on for several weeks, accumulating cash for them. But yeah, the idea that Jeremy Renner was offered half the money, considering the kind of actor that he is, and again, he doesn't need it. He's been doing Mayor of Kingstown for the last 4 years, and will probably continue to do that until he gets another offer again. And they'll probably come back to him. Can you do Hawkeye again? And who knows? Maybe he'll be in one of the upcoming Marvel films, because rumor is that they're bringing back Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson to reprise their roles as Captain America and Black Widow from another dimension, or another universe. That's how it goes. Another universe. So we'll see. But yeah, I think, in my opinion, truthfully, I think this version of Hawkeye is done. I think Jeremy Renner can ride into the sunset, and let Haley Steinberg just run with it for the rest of the way. Anyway, that's it for today's show. I'm glad you were able to kick back and watch this. If you like the video, if you like the live stream, click on down there to subscribe. Bang, bang, bang the bell so you know when new live streams and videos are uploaded. Give me a big thumbs up if you liked it. Leave me a comment, because I like to read your comments. So let me know what you think about it. And share this out to all your friends, family, and neighbors, and tell them what I'm doing. And if there's anything you want me to talk about, hey, leave it down in the comments. I'll be more than happy to research it and do a live stream or do a show about it. Tomorrow's episode, I'm going to finally talk about the death and the passing of Val Kilmer, who died, I think, pretty much the same day or the day before or after Michelle Trachtenberg. And we're going to go over his career very, very briefly, because if you go under Prime Video, there is a fantastic documentary that he did on his life. And I think it really, really opens your eyes to the kind of man that he really is. But until then, I'm Goose. This is On With the Show. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the other side.